The art of tour operating, taking care of guests when they visit Asia, is our topic of discussion today. I'm with Kim Martin Rasmussen, General Manager of EXO Travel Thailand. We're at the sensational The Siam Hotel, a Bensley design property at the riverside in Bangkok. And you are watching Trends. Kim, what makes EXO Travel special and what's your role within the company?
So my role within the company first, I've been with the company for 10 years and I am currently the general manager, evolving through the 10 years from a role of product and contracting, and then during COVID ended up becoming the general manager. So my role within the company is quite specific. I'm in charge of everything that happens in EXO Thailand, and I have some, I would say, good roots and understanding of what we are doing through my career with the company, coming from within the company with product. So what makes EXO Travel special? Of course, there's a lot of companies similar to ours out there, but I think we do have an edge when it comes to certain things in the travel business industry that we are working in. And our main force is probably exceeding expectations of the guests and the clients that travel with us. So that is one thing that we always aim at and try to do. And we do that in terms of the products we offer. We try to always be on forefront and go out and explore and learn new things and then create and come up with ideas and then present them to our agents, and then hopefully they pick up and buy it. A lot of things that happens on the ground is when people are here traveling, exploring, is the guide's responsibility. So a lot of what we do is educating the guides. They need to understand the customers they're handling, what are their needs, what are their background, and the more they know, the better they can run a trip. They can be flexible, they can adapt to things that happens on the ground. So that's one part, the big part, I would say. The other thing is our technology. We invested heavily in that over the years. So we have all these fancy words called XML, API, agent hub connections and all, which is something certain agents we work with, they of course like that, because then they can book through their own system into our system and gives a smooth workflow. So technology is a big thing for EXO. And the third thing is probably being the leader in sustainability, where we recently, maybe it's probably about a year now, but it doesn't feel like a year, but we just got B Corp certified. So that's top of the game. You can become in sustainability. So we used to be Travel Life, or the gold tier in Travel Life, which is the best we could get, but we thought about how can we improve on that. So we went for the B Corp certification, spent I think a couple of years to prepare for it, and then we went for it, and we then got certified. So being B Corp, there's a lot of commitments and things we have to do in terms of responsibility and sustainability and how we operate.
I know you as EXO Thailand and your team, but EXO has a greater footprint beyond Thailand. Where do you cover within Asia?
So EXO currently operates in 12 destinations. So we are, or we always have been, Southeast Asia. And if I have to mention the countries, it's I can do. It's Thailand first, then it's Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, which is now on a hold. We don't take new bookings in Myanmar due to the political situation. Hopefully it will be better again soon. But we still have an idle team there that then work for our other destinations. So that way we keep them busy. So we're happy to be able to do that and support them in that way. We have EXO Japan, we have EXO Korea, then we have Singapore, Malaysia, we have Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia.
Oh my goodness, that makes you like a one-stop shop for Southeast Asia and beyond.
Correct, yes. And the philosophy of the company, our mission, our vision, is to go global. And then when we open a new destination, it's basically the way we do it. We do surveys with the agents. One of the things they can tick is like, where do you want EXO to open next? Where do you see a need for it? And Korea has been mentioned several times. And then the latest one, which will come and officially open in November at WTM, we will launch it. The vision of the company is one new destination per year. So let's see what's going to be next year. Things will happen.
You're one of the first inbound tour operators within Southeast Asia to make that leap into beyond. Fantastic. Coming back to Thailand, what are your geographic source markets? We know Thailand's immensely popular worldwide. For EXO Travel, what are your key markets? Who are you looking after?
So if we focus only on EXO Thailand, because it's a bit diverse if you look at the whole group, right? So the source markets that predominantly work with us here in Thailand is the UK, it's the US, France, Latin America, Scandinavia, and Germany. So those are the markets that tend to have a synergy for the type of products and travel that we do. So we work very well with agents in those source markets.
Living and working in Bangkok, what do you find captivating about Thailand?
So that's a very good question. And I think it's the chaos. It's what really it is about living in Bangkok, because my home is Bangkok, right? It is the chaos and having this opportunity to go out and explore everything on a very low level. You can go to street food kitchens one day and eat very cheaply if that's what you fancy. The food is of course amazing. And the next day, if you feel like, oh, let's do some sky bars or some fancy Michelin dinner, you can do that as well. So it's that diversity with the culture as well. When you travel around, or I go by motorbike everywhere, so it gives me this amazing experience of always being on the move and being able to move from one place to another very quickly. So I'm not stuck in traffic, because you can zoom in between all the cars when you're on a motorbike. Of course you have to be careful, but it gives a different way of exploring the city, and you can go into all these smaller places off the main roads, and you can find all the little hidden gems, which is just something I love to do. And I have this inner passion where I'm always trying to find new places and keep coming up with ideas. I don't much tend to go back to the same place twice. I always prefer to find new, and that is what happens in Bangkok. It evolves every day, every week. You can find new places that pops up, and now, for example, I haven't been in the Thonglor, Ekamai, Sukhumvit area for a long time, so I'm sure if I go there tomorrow, there will be new places that I haven't explored before, and then I'll be all over it and have to try everything. So yeah, that's the captivating thing about living here in Bangkok. But then again, what is it that's so great about Thailand? It's the people. The people are friendly. You always have smiles, no matter what their social status is. They're always happy. And I love having this, they call it Sanuk, right? Everything always has to be fun. And when I pop into a small street food kitchen somewhere, I'm also smiling back to them, and then you joke a little bit, say a few things in Thai, and then you create this synergy between us, and then it's fun, and you have a great experience, and you get served well, and yeah, everyone's happy. So that's something I like about it. But if you think about Thailand as a country, it's also this option of you're in Bangkok and you can jump on a flight to go to the mountains in the north, go to Chiang Mai, you can go to the beaches in the south, to Krabi, Phuket, Samui, or if you just want to drive, you can do that. Also in 3 hours or 2 hours from Bangkok, you can get to all these beautiful places, mountain, beaches, nature. So that is one thing I think is quite amazing about living here as well.
I saw in the media recently that Thailand has its sights set on 50 million tourist arrivals.
Yes.
40 million, and we were talking about over-tourism. Can we reach 50 million and beyond in a sustainable way that is good for the environment and also the destinations?
Again, it's a very sensitive subject, I think, because we saw that with the 40 million before COVID. When that happened, with 40 million tourist arrivals, there were a lot of Chinese. And now the Chinese travelers are a bit less. So I think that has some impact on the sites and the way they are being visited. So if we are reaching 50 million and TAT and what they intend to do, it probably includes some return of the Chinese as well. And then we need to implement some measures. So the way we're looking at it with our source markets, and I would say UK, France, Germany, Scandinavia, they're all very established. They've been traveling to Thailand for many years. So for them, they understand, and they will also be very happy to explore lesser known areas, go off the beaten track. And that is the way we can manage, because if we do that, we take them to less known areas. They do still exist in Thailand. It's amazing about the country. That way we can win against this over-tourism, because at least for our source markets, we will be able to take them to places where it's not overcrowded. But then again, when we do that, we need to ensure we develop those communities, everyone that we're going to involve in the tourism in those areas, so there's a positive impact, not only for the travelers, but also for the people we visit and the communities. We want everyone to have a positive impact from what we do when it comes to travel.
But I'm going to jump in with the big S word, sustainability. And what is EXO doing to incorporate sustainability into your operations? Because as you mentioned, you've been accredited, you've got that recognition. Yep. What does that translate to for me as a tourist coming to EXO and you showing me around a destination in a sustainable way?
So we are B2B operator. So of course everything we do is facing our agents that we work with. So the agents have to do their job on their end for the end consumer, which is the people that's going to travel here and that's going to actually be traveling with us, but through the agents. So we provide a lot of material for these agents, for them to display it to the end consumer, so they understand what they're going into. Luckily, again, that ties in with the source markets that we're working with. They are also seeing a need for this sustainability and the demand that's in the market. It's a trend, I would say, that people want to travel sustainable. They want to make the right choices. They still want to have value for money, and often with sustainability it becomes a bit more expensive if you do it right. But we do have the right source markets who can pay for it. So what are we doing operationally at EXO? So we're doing a lot of things. First is our wildlife code of conduct. So that one is important because there are certain places that we don't go and we don't visit, and we need to explain that to agents and end consumers that we are not visiting these places, that is not treating animals right. So what the trend is that, for example, elephants, we know we have a lot of elephants in Thailand, and it's a major attraction for tourists coming here. They all want to see and explore the elephants, but we have to do it in the right way. So the way to do it the right way is to certify these elephant camps, and that can be a big job. And we can do it ourselves. We try to do it ourselves, but actually the best way to do it is to partner with specific companies who are specialists in this. So we're using a company called ACES, the Asian Captive Elephant Standards. And these guys go out to the elephant camps. They run like 50 questions that the elephant camps have to go through. And when they have done this assessment, they have a very good idea about how sustainable is this elephant camp. And this is basically what we're doing now in terms of the camps we want to promote and work with. So they have to get a score, I think it's above 75 on this list. And then we can say, okay, we can work with this camp. And that's if there's a interaction, so human interaction, meaning bathing or walking with the elephants. But there's also camps going in the other direction, and there's a lot need for those as well, where it's just observation. So we know there's captive elephants, so they need to have a job. Also in their retirement and what's going on, because you cannot just release them into the wild, which is the problem we have. So those camps doing only observation programs are in demand, so there will be more like that. But there's also places where you can go and see the elephants in nature. Then it's a hit or miss, because you don't know that it's nature, if they're gonna be there or not. But we do a lot of exploration down to Kuiburi, south of Hua Hin, which is probably the best place to see the wild elephants, Gengachan as well, but in Kuiburi it's quite easy. And I would say there is if you go on a trip there, 90% chance you're gonna see them if you go in the afternoon. And that feels a bit like the African safari, so that's the best or the closest we can get to it. So that was the Wildlife Code of Conduct. We committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and we have a goal before 2030 to reduce our carbon footprint. So we're working on that, and to be able to do that, you need to plant trees or mangroves, and you need to have a lot of data. So we do a lot of data input and ties in with our systems and what we do at EXO. But when we have that data, we will be able to track how much carbon we actually produce. And then we've tried to offset, and of course we on our website you will be able to read a whole lot of things about what we do in terms of reducing carbon. We want to be carbon neutral, and we have carbon neutral trips, so there's many ways we can do that. When we develop new tours, they have to have what we call, in EXO we call it travel for good. So there's a certain element. So if you go on our website, you will see travel for good. There's 5 different markers that can come on tours. So they will be stamped with one. They could be all 5. It happens sometimes, but they might have 1 or 2. But every time we develop a new tour now, it has to have minimum 10% of sustainability into it. And with that travel for good, it can belong to the carbon, it can be the animals included in the trip, so the Wildlife Code of Conduct, it can be the communities, how we give back to whoever is involved in the tour. So all of these things will be called travel for good. And then when we promote these tours, we already make sure that the agents are buying something that's sustainable through us. So the end consumer coming here, they will go on a sustainable trip, or there's a sustainable element to it. So that way we try to work with that. Another thing we do that is important when it comes to sustainability and all this is we just got recertified with Child Safe. So that is the child protection. So every team member, so EXO Thailand is 150 team members now, and then the whole EXO group, we're about 800. They all went through the recertification with Child Safe. So everyone has a certificate that they went through, they learned, they answered questions, and we can all say that we are protective in terms of any child abuse, whatever could happen on our trips. So guides are also, of course, trained in all of this. The last thing that I want to mention we do in terms of sustainability is the plastic inclusions. So we know that it can be difficult. If we talk about hotels are aware, and often they try to reduce plastic by using different methods. They have maybe they use glass bottles, or they have refillable stations in their hotels that customers can use. But when we then go out to operate trips or transfers, we need to see how can we reduce the plastic there as well, because it is quite easy when you go to a cheap street food stall and they will have plastic bottles there when you ask for water. So we try to encourage our customers to bring their own refillable bottle, and then in the vans that we use or in the tuk-tuks, we will provide a water tank with a refillable system. So there's a 5-liter water inside, and then the customers can refill their refillable bottle. So instead of giving them plastic, we encourage to use the refillable system that we have. And then hopefully we will create a movement where there will be more free refillable stations throughout the country. So that is doing quite well in Cambodia. It's doing quite well in Laos. Thailand it's coming, but it's still a little bit behind. But you have probably noticed if you go to the airports now, you can refill your water for free.
I'm ready to pack my bags. I hope you are too. Kim, what are you recommending as the 3 hot destinations for EXO for this year? What's trending?
So the trending destinations, there is the big 5. So that's where our agents and customers always would like to go. So it's of course Bangkok, because it's the melting pot. Everyone wants to come here to start their trip. Then you have Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Phuket and Samui. So those are the popular destinations if we're talking about our source markets. What I would recommend, because I like to go a little bit off the beaten track, and where I would love that you would go and explore, it all again depends on what are your interests, but I would mention two. Number one is Khao Sok. So if you're into nature and you like wildlife, I would highly recommend Khao Sok. And there is, and it's not really new, but the property's been there for many years, but they have new management who really understands how to provide service. And it's called Tanya Mundra. So you go to Khao Sok, you stay in the national park, Perry and her team will look after you, and you will have a private butler throughout your trip, and you will wake up with morning mist over the mountains, and you will, enjoy Khao Sok on a different level. The other place, if you're more into culture and being close with people, then I would recommend to go to Chiang Khan in the Loei province, which is a small sleeping town on the Mekong River with these wooden houses, and you will have this same thing that happens when you go to Luang Prabang, the monks walking through in the morning doing the almsgiving, and you can be part of that. And then there are so many places you can explore from Chiang Khan in the Loei province, which again is an area that's off the beaten track, because the Western tourists are not really, they haven't found it yet, so they're not really going there. So it's more like a domestic tourist destination, but still beautiful to explore for our Western tourists and for you. So pack your bag and go.
Great recommendations for new experiences in travel. Keep up the great work at EXO. Keep jumping on your bike and exploring more of the city and other destinations. I'm following you on social and seeing you explore all these places. Great what you're doing. Thanks for being with us today. And thank you for watching this episode of Trends. See you next Friday.